What's up, everybody? This is Old Papa G, and I'm back with another Pokemon video for you guys. Uh, in today's video, we're going to go over the new Pokemon that they added in the game from previous games, the legendaries, how to get the legendaries, exclusives to each game's shield or sword, and I'm going to go over the Dynamax Cave. So, first off, I'm not going to really spend too much time on the returning Pokemon. As you can see, here's the list of them. I give you 20 seconds. Obviously, you could pause it so you can see it a little bit easier. I give you 20 seconds on each little bracket. Once we get into the legendaries, that's when I'm really going to stop and explain it and go into detail for each legendary and how to get them. But as you can see, the returning Pokemon are pretty cool, and I'm happy that they brought back people like Kabutops, Dragonite, and Nidoking, stuff like that. Those were really excellent additions to put into the game. And now here we go with the legendaries. Okay, so for the first couple groupings of legendaries that we're going to go over, they're all obtained through the new Dynamax Cave. I really like how they did the Dynamax Cave. It gives you an opportunity to get Pokemon that aren't really in your game. These legendaries don't come up on your Pokedex even after you obtain them. They're not in the Pokedex. Like I said, they're all caught through the Crown Tundra, new Dynamax Cave, and later on in the video, I'm going to show you how the Dynamax Cave works and the best way to utilize it, because you could also get Pokemon that aren't legendaries at the end of it. And it's actually pretty interesting idea how they did it and how they went about it. You actually don't use like your own Pokemon, and you could switch your Pokemon from each one that you catch because there's 4 rounds, and it's pretty cool. But now let's just get into the first list of them. So first up, we have Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. You know, the big 3 birds. YouTube. Then we got the 3 dogs. Obviously, Riku, Entei, Suicune. Then we got Rayquaza. All the 3 psychic that look like fairy types. And then we got Heatran, Giratina, and I always say her name wrong, Cresselia. So that's the first set, and now we're going to get into the next set that are also obtained through the Dynamax Cave. Okay, and now we're up to our second bracket. Again, all Dynamax Cave, and again, they are pretty rare depending. You could, obviously there's a lot of them, and at the end of the day, you could get a lot of repeats. You don't necessarily know who you're going to get, so it could get a little bit difficult. And it's really all RNG, all random of who you're going to get. And there's also a little bit of a factor of you being able to catch them or not. Obviously, they can get out, and then that's going to be heartbreaking because there's really no saving. As you like to save it right before you see the Pokemon, because they cloud it. That way you can't see it, but you'll see that later. So we have Landorus, Crinum, Zygarde, Zapu Koko, Tapu, both of them, all 3 of them, Buzzwole, Celestia, and Kartana. And now we're up to bracket 3. So bracket 3 and 4 are going to have the exclusives for Sword and Shield, but I'll go over the first ones at the top of the list before we get into the exclusives. So it's all of them from the newer generations. So obviously you can see them right now. I'm just going to go right into the exclusives. I felt like they did a really good job getting legendary Pokemon that were popular to begin with, and separating them accordingly. That way both feel like you get something really good out of it. Obviously, Ho-Oh is a staple, and then you'll see later that Shield gets Lugia. You have Latios. Obviously, Shield's going to get Latios. Then you got Groudon, Dialga, Tornadus, Xerneas. So it's just like, that's just a really good set of them. And you'll see once we get into Shield, it's the same type of exclusives, and I just thought they did a really good job separating them. Unfortunately, it's not like you could get Ho-Oh and Lugia in the same game unless you're doing trading. Same thing with Groudon and Kyogre. So that's like the one disappointing thing. But I mean, you know, that Pokemon always does this because they really kind of want you to get both games and or use their trading system for the online. But other than that, obviously, they still gave you like all 3 dogs, all 3 legendary birds, so you can't really complain too much about it. So one thing I also wanted to mention that I haven't really tested out for myself yet or experienced, but it kind of just dawned on me while I was making this video. As you do these Dynamax Caves, you can play with your friends, and you can play online. You don't have to do it by yourself. So something that just dawned on me, if your friend has Pokemon Sword and you have Pokemon Shield, you might be able to get a legendary that's not in your game just by teaming up with a majority that are from one game rather than the other one. These are all the Shield exclusives. As I said earlier, it's just the opposite of what it would be for the other one. So obviously, since Sword had Ho-Oh, in Shield, we're going to have Lugia. Same thing. Latios, Latias, Kyogre, Palkia, Thundurus, Zekrom, and Lunala. So again, I think they did a good job separating those ones and making sure that the legendaries that everyone can get are a full set. And again, all these are done through the Dynamax Cave. And now we're going to get into the legendaries that aren't obtained through the Dynamax Cave and are done through the story of the expansion of Crown Tundra. So the first legendary that we're going to go over is the brand new legendary Calyrex. As you're going through the Crown expansion, this is all part of the story. You get it while you're doing the campaign. The two horses, you can only get one of them. Calyrex actually rides that horse. So the type that you're getting would be either Ghost or Ice. It depends on where you plant the carrot. And I actually made a video that explains what location is for which horse. And I will put that link in the bio. That way you guys can see it. And now we're going to move on to the next set. So, as I said, next we got the Legendary Titans, which are aka the Regis. So they gave you the first three originals, which is Regirock, Regice, Registeel. I also made a video for a guide of how to open each door for the Regis, because you have to do something special for each one. And I will also put that link into the bio. Something to mention, the two on the bottom, Regieleki and Regidrago, are brand new. And you could only choose one. There is no other way to get the other one unless you're going to be trading online. And yeah, that's about it for the Titans. I do like the new ones. The main difference between Regieleki and Regidrago is the electric type has much more speed, whereas Drago, the dragon type, has much more health. But all the other stats seem to be the same for baseline. In reality, it doesn't really matter because you can't use legendaries online to get master rank. And now we're moving on to the legendary birds. So again, I also made a video explaining how to get these birds, where they're located, and tips in order to unlock them. So you have the three types. Obviously, it's the same names as the originals, but these are the Galarian type. So you have Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. Basically, they're the same thing, but they changed their type. I'm also going to put the link in the bio for the guide how to catch them and get it done easily. You don't need a Master Ball for these ones. You don't have to worry about anything crazy like that. They're all very easily obtained with the Ultra Ball. In the guide, I explain tips to do for your save. Also, one other thing to mention, again, the types are different now. So obviously, Articuno is Psychic, as you can see, Dragon type and stuff like that. But I gotta say, I'm actually pretty impressed with all three of them. They all came out really well done. Sometimes when they touch something that was an original, people don't like it because obviously it was an original. But I actually think they were really well done. And finally, to end it off, before we do the Dynamax Cave, we have the new age, quote-unquote, legendary dogs. Again, just like the birds and the Regis, these are obtained through the actual campaign itself. They're not done through the Dynamax Cave. These ones are a little bit more difficult. Basically, as you can see where that guy is located, it's really hard to see in the image, but there's footprints that are there. You have to go up to these footprints, and then and for each location, like there's grassland, winterland, blah blah blah, the assortment for all four of them, and you have to get 100% complete finding all the footprints for that one type in that place. And then you can go back and you talk to the lab person. I forgot her name, so I don't want to say the wrong name, but she's essentially, the new age Professor Oak. And then she will give you the location once you hit 100%. These ones are the most time consuming that aren't in the Dynamax Cave. Obviously, Dynamax Cave is RNG. I'm talking about the legendaries that are just in the campaign to begin with. And that's going to be it for the legendaries. These are all the new additions that they brought back, and the legendaries. And now, to end off the video, I have a brief 10-minute video of the Dynamax Cave and how it works, and that way you can see how the legendaries come and the rounds that you do, because like I mentioned, you can't pick your Pokemon, they pick it for you, and I'll explain it as you see it upcoming right now. Alright everybody, we're finally up to the Dynamax cave. This is actually the first time I went into it, so like I made a couple mistakes and I was figuring it out. But once you do it one playthrough, you really figured it out. You'll be able to figure it out easily. I condensed the video a little bit. That way it goes nice and smoothly. So first off, when you go in, I did my first one alone because I was doing the campaign and I wanted it to be easy. So here's the group of Pokemon that they let you pick from. Obviously, I picked the one that had Dynamax to begin with, like it was a Dynamax Grimmsnarl. He was also the final form of his evolution, whereas the other ones aren't. Well, Vespiquen is. I mean, yeah, Vespiquen is, but, Grimmsnarl with that is the best option, and then the other ones pick out of a random assortment. So you're not going into your own into your box or into your team and picking it out of there. Now, as you can see, that's the chart. There's 4 rounds. So the first round is just 2 Pokemon that you pick from. Now, as you may know, I'm playing with Pokemon Sword. I picked the fighting side. It made me go up against Machoke. Now, the reason why that is interesting is Machoke actually isn't in Pokemon Sword at all. So, if the last Pokemon that you want, like at the end of all this, every Pokemon that you catch, you can only choose one. So let's say you caught all 4 of them. At the very end, it only lets you pick one. What's nice about that is, if you have doubles or something that you don't really want, you could get a Pokemon that's not even in your game. So it's nice to give that option now to get a Pokemon Sword exclusive in your own game. Now, as you can see, I mentioned I fast forward through it. That way you could see me catch it. So after this, you go into round 2. Round 2 is a little bit more options. So I think, obviously, as you saw, round 1 was only 2 sides. I believe the next one is either 4 or 5. So it really gives you a lot of options. So far, I've never wiped while going through the Dynamax cave. I actually don't know what happens. You might have to just start from the beginning or whatever. I don't even know if it gives you the option to keep what you caught. So that's something to keep in mind as you're going through it. Try not to wipe. And yeah, so now when you go up to the next spot, it lets me pick Machoke. It doesn't let you go to your box or your Pokemon in your party, but I don't have to pick Grimmsnarl anymore. I can pick Machoke, the one that I just caught. So it is ideal for you to catch the Pokemon, even if you have it. Don't just let it sit there. You might as well catch it because it might be better and give you a super effective Pokemon on what's coming up next because you don't know what type you're going up against. I went and picked Fire, and the reason why I picked Fire was because I had a funny feeling it was going to be Magmar, and I know Magmar was new. As you can see on the Psychic side, it looks like Metagross. So I was like, you know what? I think it's going to be Magmar. I'm going to go for it. They don't do the best job hiding it through the smoke. They do on the last one, though, because the last one tends to be a legendary. So I was right with my pick. I picked Magmar. I thought it was going to be Magmar because I knew that he was a new addition into the game. So I picked him. But again, same idea. You go into it. Obviously, it's like any other Dynamax. Your Pokemon can faint, but as long as your team as a whole doesn't faint, you're good to go. And again, I catch Magmar because, like I said, you don't know what you're going to go up against. So it kind of gives you a little bit more advantage to have multiple types. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this part. And then there's 2 more rows to go. Again, it condenses a little bit at the end. The mid row, which would be Magmar's row, it was the 4 options. The next one is a little bit less than that, and we will be seeing that shortly. So here we have it, second to final round. It's 4 choices again. I was wrong. I thought it condensed at the end. That was my mistake. Forgive me. And then after this one, there's only 1 choice. So you go in there, and you're going to see once it's up to the last choice, you'll see that they give you an item to be held, but I'll get into that once it comes up. In this one, I picked the Steel type, so it also gives you the option to catch actual Dynamax. Obviously, all of them go into Dynamax, but I'm talking true Dynamax form, like that's his true form. So again, it's nice. It gives you other additions, and it just seems like it works out nicely. Obviously, also, like I said, you always catch it. That way you might have something a little bit more versatile against what you're going up against. At the end of the day, I saw that the final guy is going to be Water. So again, I wouldn't want to pick Magmar for that situation. It was ideal for me to pick him. Obviously, I know he has ranged attacks, so like electric and stuff like that. And also, to catch a real Dynamax, prior to the last event, when you know the last event is going to be the hardest one, is good because it gives you a little bit of advantage and some more strength and more health. Now, here we are at the last battle. Like I mentioned, it lets you pick supplies. So as you can see, here's the 4. You don't get to keep it. Your Pokemon just gets equipped to have it. I ended up picking weakness policy. That way, my special attack moves were a little bit sharper. Obviously, Durland, that's what his focus is. It's defense and special attack. So here we go. Like I said, this is the first time I went into the Dynamax cave. To my surprise, I had no idea what was about to happen. So when I seen Swissine come up, I was ecstatic. I could not believe that this came up because I actually never even knew that they were adding all these legendaries in the game. That's why I wanted to make this video for you guys, because I was completely shocked. And obviously I bought the expansion for Isles of Armor, but for someone that didn't buy that expansion, this is like a real good reason to buy it. Like, you could get all these legendaries now. It's a lot of content, a lot of hours to like go through, because like I said, it's RNG. If you're trying to get, for example, like Entei or Zapdos, the non-Galarian form, you could be in here for hours trying to catch it. So obviously it's RNG, but it gives you a lot of content. You could do it with your friends. It's fun. It's like a fresh new idea. I really liked what they did with the Dynamax Cave. I thought this was honestly brilliant. They always seem to outdo themselves. You know, at one point they had like their little period where I felt they were going downwards, but they really have come a long way again. And yeah, so like I said, you can watch this battle, watch me catch it, and then after that I will show you what comes at the end of it. And here's the finale, me catching Swissine. Another thing to mention, obviously I went into this match alone, so I didn't have to worry about like anything with other players or anything like that. So, you know, I got to catch it outright, and it was really entertaining for me. Like I said, I had no idea at all that these legendaries were going to be in the Dynamax Cave. And as I mentioned earlier, none of them show up on the Pokedex. So all these Dynamax legendaries will not be on your Pokedex. So keep that in mind. You have to keep track of it yourself. Obviously, you could always go back to this video if you want, screenshot the brackets with all the legendaries, because it's not going to come up. I looked in every single Pokedex, and it's not in here. And now this is what I was mentioning earlier. You could only keep one. So obviously, that's the only choice right there. Why would I pick anything else, even though those are exclusives to Sword or brand new ones? You know, that's the choice to pick. But like I said, let's say you went into this and you already had this Pokemon. Now you could pick an exclusive to Sword when you have Shield, so it's nice. It gives you multiple things to collect, and it really adds a lot of extra content to the game. So I was really impressed by this. Okay, and that just sums it up for this video, guys. Again, I really hope you guys enjoy my content. Everybody that puts like a nice comment saying that they're enjoying my stuff, I really enjoy that, and it makes me happy that I'm putting out this content. So again, if you could like and subscribe to my channel, it would be greatly appreciated. And thank you all for tuning in.